Are you a chosen one? Are you? A lot of people like to volunteer and say, I'm a chosen one, I'm a chosen one, I'm a chosen one. You wouldn't be able to walk a day in the shoes of a chosen one, because anyone who's truly a chosen one knows it's not fun to be chosen. When you're not chosen, you can just go through your life and just exist and nobody's bothering you. But when you're a chosen one, just your existence alone bothers people. Just you walking into a room will trigger people. So, are you a chosen one? Number one, when I dissect the conversation about chosen ones, I'd like to tell you this. Chosen ones are usually rejected from an early age. Chosen ones are usually rejected from birth. How are they rejected? Either their father says, I don't want this, I don't want the baby, like, I'm not ready to be a father, I'm not ready to be a parent. Or the mother says that, but still goes along with the pregnancy. Or the mother keeps the baby because she thinks that by keeping you, she'll keep your father. And even after your birth, your father still doesn't want to work things out. So now she has resentment towards you. Chosen ones are usually rejected by their families. Aunts, cousins, uncles, nieces, just people, your family, for some reason, you've always been treated differently. Like I told you guys a little bit about my story, I briefly shared it. I am the most unproblematic family member, meaning I'm the family member where I don't show up to things. I don't call anyone. I don't text anyone. I don't text anyone happy birthday. I know I will not be at the cookout. No, I won't be at the baby shower. I won't be at your wedding. You will not see me because I have had enough of the abuse. I don't want any of them around me. And I'm very clear on that. And it's never going to change. So chosen ones always get the highest level of abusive behaviors from their immediate family. Like your family literally will mentally, physically, emotionally, or even sexually abuse you. You have been beat down since birth. It's like when you're a chosen one, it's like your mere existence bothered your family. It's like your birth is an inconvenience for people. They make you feel like that from the time that you're born, that you being around is an inconvenience for them. You're bothersome to them. Like the fact that they have to take care of you is bothersome. The fact that they have to interact with you. And then as you get older, this is also how you know you're a chosen one. As a chosen one, as you get older, your star and your light starts to get brighter. That's the thing. It's already bright when you're young, but as you grow, as you age, it gets brighter and brighter and brighter and brighter and brighter. And that's why the hostility from your family becomes more aggressive the more you age, because the bright is becoming too bright for them. The light in you. So then the hostility grows as a result. Chosen ones are always rejected from their family. Always. That's part of the process. Yes, I know it's difficult to accept. It's difficult to digest. I completely understand. It doesn't feel good, but I've never met one chosen one who wasn't rejected by their family. They're always rejected by their family. That's where it starts, because God wants you to understand that He is your all in all, not the people around you. You belong to God. You don't belong to your family. You belong to God. God used your mom to bring you into this world. He brought your father to plant the seed, but you don't belong to anybody. You only belong to God. I want to make that very clear. So God allows you to go through that experience because God wants you to understand, for where I'm taking you, I need you to understand that you need to be fully reliant on me. Not them. Don't seek love from them. Don't seek anything from anyone. Everything you're seeking, you should seek from me. Because you and God have to be walking hip to hip if you want to get to your promised land, because it's not going to be easy, chosen one. It's not going to be easy. Another sign that you're a chosen one. People just don't like you. People just don't like you. Strangers, right? Like, people just don't like you. They just don't like you. Like, it's like, I remember when I was in high school, I would deal with that all the time. They just don't like me. Like, it could be some random girl that I don't even have a class with her, nothing. I remember when I was in high school, my friend was having a birthday dinner, and she was having her other friend plan the dinner. So her other a friend was putting the birthday dinner together and like texting all the people and all this stuff, yada, yada, yada. So me and the friend who was the birthday girl, we had PE together, or physical education. Our lockers were right next to each other, and we were super cool, super tight. And one day she came in and she was like not talking to me. She was ignoring me. I'm like, hey girl. And she just turned around and like went to the bathroom. And then she came back and I'm like, hey girl, you didn't hear me? And then she ignored me again, and she ignored me I was like, this is so weird. So then after I was like, what happened? Like, we're supposed to be friends. Like, did I do something? She's like, you know what you did. And I'm like, what did I do? She's like, it's my birthday tomorrow, and this is a very special dinner for me. And you didn't even respond or say that you're going to show up. And I said, I never received a text message from you about a birthday dinner. And I pulled out my phone. I remember this like it was yesterday. And I told her, you see, the last conversation we had was about Gossip Girl, which is a popular TV show. And she told me, she said, wait a minute, you didn't get a text from B about like with the Evite? I'm like, no, I didn't get anything. She's like, so you really didn't get anything? And I'm like, no. And then she went and asked the girl, why didn't you invite her? Like, why? Like, she's on the list. Why would you? And the girl was like, oh, well, I just don't like her. And my friend was like, well, what did she do to you? Oh, nothing. I just don't like her. And then my friend was like, okay, well, then you're uninvited because I don't even move like that. That's not cool. And the girl started crying and got uninvited to the dinner. But that's just to give you an example of that dislike that people have of you, people that just don't like you without cause. It starts very young. So first you're rejected by your family, and then your family don't like you. And then random people don't like you. So the reason why a lot of people tell me, well, why does God allow that to happen? I feel like God allows that to happen because he wants chosen ones to have a confidence level that's unbeatable. He wants chosen ones to have a mentality where it's like, I don't care if you like me or don't like me. My mission will be complete. I don't care how you feel. God wants his chosen ones to be emotionally detached from humans, so that you can focus on your spiritual growth, because you're not really worried about what's going on around you as far as the people, because people will like you one day and hate you the next day. But once you're completely detached from people, it doesn't matter how they feel about you, because it doesn't have anything to do with your mission. And honestly, you guys, when you guys understand human nature, you're going to understand that humans are so fickle. People are so fickle that if someone likes me, I'm like, okay, cool. When someone compliments me, I'm like, okay, thank you. Or, all right, cool. Thank you. Cool. I'm not sweating it. I don't like compliments don't excite me, and not being complimented doesn't excite me either. Cause like I said, people are going to be people. They'll like you today and hate you tomorrow. So I don't really base my life on how somebody feels, because it can always change. And as a chosen one, because you've dealt with so much with people, starting from your family, which are people the most closest to you, trickling all the way down to random strangers, you kind of start to develop a detachment for people. You start to develop a way of being where it's like your confidence are solidified, and the foundation of your confidence is so solid that like people don't really matter as far as their feelings towards you, because you understand how people are. And not only do you understand how people are, you understand how you are, and you understand that you're not regular. You're not a regular person. You're a chosen one. So you're powerful. And you shake the room every time you walk in, and people will not be able to handle that. So God allows that to happen so you don't take what people do to you to heart. And God allows that to happen so that you don't sweat anything. Like me, I really just let things roll over my shoulders now with people. You start to develop an approach of stoicism. You're very stoic because it's like people are going to be people. If your presence intimidates somebody, they're going to start acting out. Like, people are so predictable that it just gets to a point where you're just like, oh, whatever, I don't even care. That's how detached you get. And sometimes even that detachment will bother people because they want a reaction out of you and they're not getting it because you already expected them to act that way. Because they're not ascended and they're not where you are. So first thing is, chosen ones get rejected from their family. Chosen ones get rejected from random strangers. And the third thing is, chosen ones, people always make you the villain. Like, I had a video about this on TikTok. People always see the wrong in what you're doing. A chosen one can be told, hey, clean this room from top to bottom. You clean the room from top to bottom. And they'll come in and they'll say, but you still didn't paint these walls. And you're like, wait a minute, but you didn't tell me to paint the walls. I understand, but you should have thought of that, though. That's common sense. Chosen ones, you're constantly being gaslighted by people. Everything you do is wrong. People want to break down everything you do. They want to pick apart everything that you do. That's why people will come on these videos and say, oh, well, I don't understand. You know, you have this slideshow. You have this. It's like, you will get blocked in 2 seconds. I don't even read comments to the fullness, especially if they're negative. You just get blocked and I move on. Because you having a problem with the slideshow is not going to stop what God is using me for. So it doesn't matter what you like or what you don't like. And as a chosen one, you start to develop that approach with everyone, and you start to develop that approach everywhere you go, which is why people start to call you arrogant. Because they don't like the fact that you don't want their validation. But they don't understand that you've been invalidated since birth, so you're used to not being validated anyways. So them not validating you, it's not a problem because you're used to that. And that's how God wants it, because you don't have time to be distracted. So chosen ones, don't be surprised if every time you go to a workplace, they're picking you apart. You could do the job right. They'll still say it's being done wrong. You can walk in and smile from ear to ear. They will say, oh, you didn't smile at me. People are always trying to pick a fight with you. That's why you have to develop an approach of stoicism, because people will always go out of their way to pick fights with you. Because your energy is so powerful that even if a response from you is negative, it's still a response. And that's how people see it. Chosen ones have a very good connection with babies, animals, and nature. Chosen ones feel safe and at home when they are at the beach, or when they're grounding their foot in the grass, when they are smelling the breeze, when they're sitting near the ocean late at night, when they are playing with their animals, or let's say you have pets, or newborn babies sometimes will crawl and try to follow you around the restaurant. You feel more comfortable in places of peace and tranquility, in places of purity, because your heart is pure. So those are the environments that you like. You don't like being in environments with people because you understand how damaged people are and how they really like to destroy beautiful things. And you just can't mesh with them. You've never been able to mesh with people, ever. You've always been put out the group. You've always been singled out. You've always been the one pursued. So you don't even feel comfortable in spaces with people. And God intentionally does that because he wants you to be able to hear his voice. And you can't hear his voice if people are constantly around. So don't see you being alone as something negative. You can better connect with yourself when you're alone. Chosen ones have always had some type of spiritual gift. Meaning, since you were a child, you have been able to have prophetic dreams. You've been able to see visions, see things, hear things. You have knowings of things, meaning you have a knowing. You know, if someone's going to pass away, you're going to know. If something bad is going to happen to someone, you're going to know. If something bad is going to happen to you, you're going to know and have the power to stop it as well. Like, you've always had these gifts. You've always known people and who they really are. And you're always a friend that's kind of like the told you so friend, because you always tell people about people and they don't believe it. And then once they see it, they're like, oh, wow, you're right about that person. You're always right about people. Chosen ones are always right about people. You're never wrong about people ever. You're always right, which is why I always tell chosen ones to use your first sense. Always use your first sense. Always use your first sense. Like, the biggest thing that chosen ones do that really harm you in life is ignoring your intuition and giving people the benefit of the doubt. Chosen ones can't give the benefit of the doubt. And the reason why is when you're a chosen one, people see it as a you or them situation. What do I mean by that? You can be in a workplace and everybody can get a promotion. Everybody can move up the ladder. Everybody can be promoted, but you can't. People feel like everybody can move up, but not you. Like, everything good can be for everyone else, but just not you, though. So chosen ones, it's always a you or it's people see it as a you or them type of thing. So they can walk into a room with 50 different people who are engineers, and you're an engineer, but for some reason you're the engineer that has to get kicked out. They don't mind the other engineers being there. It's you. You have to go. You shine too bright. It's not even about you just being an engineer. It's just you. So I always tell chosen ones to not really take the rejection too hard. That actually, in a way, helps your ego. Because I have a you can't sit with me mentality. That's literally the mentality that I have. And it's not in an arrogant way. It's just you really can't sit with me. We're not the same type of people. We have nothing in common. And because I know who I am and because I know I'm chosen, I know you're going to try to be a threat to my life. So you can't sit with me. And I wear the bad guy hat. I wear the villain hat. And I wear the you can't sit with me hat all the time, because most people can't sit with you. And every time you try to, be nice, and every time you try to give people the benefit of the doubt and invite them into your world, let me know how that ends for you. It usually never ends well. But if you had a you can't sit with me mindset, you would limit the negative experiences that you have with people, because only certain people can sit with you. And that's exactly how you would get through life. It's not arrogance. That's not what I'm saying. It's just they can't sit with you. And because you're so used to being invalidated and treated badly and poorly, and you're always used to the one that's put out the group, you don't ever want to be in the group. Like me, I don't ever want to be in the group. I don't want to be a part of the clique. I want you guys to stay as far away from me as possible. That's how I navigate life, because I've developed into the type of person where I've because of what I've been through, and I'm sure you guys have been through the same, you're very comfortable in your solitude. And it's great, because it's in your solitude that is where you're going to move up the ladder in life. So are you a chosen one? Does this sound familiar to anybody? Chosen ones, you get stared at a lot in public. And I don't mean you're being stared at because you're attractive. It's like when people look at you, it's like they almost trip over when they see you. It's like when they look at you, it's like looking at a ghost, because it's not you that they see. It's the light. It's the light in you that they see. It's the favor, it's the mantle, it's the robe that God put on you that they see. And once they see it, it can go two ways. It can either go really, really good, or it can go really, really bad. And that's another thing that chosen ones go through. It's either people like you or hate you. There's no in between. They either really like you and they fight for you, or they really dislike you and they do everything they do to ruin you. There's no gray area for the chosen one in regards to people.